This year, our Where Are They Now update focuses on another historic female first, with the story of a basketball star at the Air Force Academy who was the first woman to hold the rank of senior cadet at any service academy. She went on to become a Rhodes Scholar and last year was promoted to Brigadier General. Now, Michelle Johnson serves at the Pentagon as a Deputy Director for the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
I think I've arrived at an age where I'm able to take stock better, perhaps, than I have before, and to realize that my journey might be unique. It's the only one I've known.
Hi, I'm Brigadier General Michelle Johnson of the United States Air Force, currently serving as a Deputy Director for Plans and Policy on the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
I went to the Air Force Academy for a combination of reasons. I played basketball in an era before there was heavy recruiting. I was a great student, if I may say, and I was a pretty good athlete, and I thought, my goodness, I can play intercollegiate sports, but I can get a great education, and I can serve. I had some sense of wanting to give back somehow.
Michelle Johnson can do a lot of things by herself. She would prefer to do it with everyone else coming with her. Brigadier General Darren McDew, United States Air Force. No matter what team Michelle Johnson's on, it could be a family unit, it can be a public affairs organization, it could be at the White House. She gets her presence felt, everyone wants to be a part of her, and you want to be better than you were before she joined you. That's an amazing thing to be able to do. And she does it every day, in every circumstance.
The bond I have with my teammates is very special. Can you imagine, we only had maybe 300 women in the whole school when we went to nationals in Division II for the AIW, which was pretty good. And so, and it came from passion. The role of Cadet Wing Commander is probably unique, and for people who went to civilian institutions, it might seem an anomaly a bit. It's a bit like being the class president, but with responsibilities that kind of go beyond that, because you're not really elected. It's an earned rank. And in the senior class, each year, 2 people are chosen, 1 per semester, to be the senior ranking military cadet.
What a feather in anyone's hat to be either the brigade or the corps or the wing commander at one of our service academies. John Sadler, Lieutenant General, United States Marines, the Director for Strategy and Policy here, working for the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It's a combination of athletics, of interpersonal skills, of selflessness, and leadership that elevates anyone to that very unique and highly, I won't say sought after because you're chosen for it, but to be picked to do that, that's quite an honor.
But again, it's difficult in the moment to really appreciate it. I think after the fact, I wonder, how I got any sleep at all. But in the moment, it was a great honor, and I wanted to live up to it. But it wasn't an easy time. It was a time of great change.
And it takes pioneers in any situation to not only go and make it through and graduate from, in this case, the Air Force Academy, but to excel to the point and have the confidence of the leadership that not only could you do a tough job where only one person gets to be the wing commander in this case, but the additional adversity that is added by being the first and having to stand up to that very, very, I'm sure, very heavy scrutiny, and that would have been anywhere.
I went through that glass breaking exercise, and when you break glass, there's some sharp edges. But as we get through that, now it's not a problem. People earn it by merit, and we did then, and people do now. And I think it made a difference. I hope for those now who don't have to go through those sharp edges as much as they go through.
She is incredible. If you can think of all the elements you need as an officer, a person, and a friend, she has them all. And she has them all better than anybody I've ever seen. So to follow her means you have got to put your ego in check because you're never going to be as good as Michelle Johnson.
I didn't really go into flying until a senior officer came up to me after he'd seen me play basketball and said, Cadet Johnson, I have seen you play basketball and you're a warrior. In the Air Force, the warriors fly. Why aren't you in the pilot track? I didn't know much about that. I didn't come from that background either. So even though it's difficult, an intense crucible, it does open up opportunities that you can't imagine. It would not have occurred to me to compete for a Rhodes Scholarship. It was not in the experience of my family. But the faculty at the Academy was very encouraging, and they said, why not go for it? What a wonderful opportunity, again, to assimilate thoughts, to really think about things in a critical way. Critical thinking skills have been really imperative in my professional life. But it was a fabulous experience at Oxford. We started a women's basketball club there. They had never had one before. My flatmate had played at Yale, and so we found 3 other people to play, and we played Cambridge, and we won. So we thought that was a first too. We beat Cambridge in basketball.
The key is to use the opportunities when they present themselves, and this is a huge opportunity for student athletes to excel.
Another playbook that'll help you with life. And speaking of someone writing her own playbook, Michelle Johnson, as you well know, has been doing that since her collegiate days at the U.S. Air Force Academy, to her graduate studies at Oxford, and her becoming a command pilot who has logged more than 3,600 flying hours. Well, now she's a trusted advisor to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
One of the wonderful things about our services today, the Air Force being my home service, obviously, is that we think about families a lot. Hi, I'm Brigadier General Michelle Johnson of the United States Air Force. Our family is very fortunate in that my husband decided that after 20 years of being a pilot in the Air Force that he would retire and run the house as his mission.
Hello, I'm Michelle's husband, John. 20 years of service with the Air Force as a pilot, and now retired and a full-time Michael Keaton Mr. Mom. I am every bit as busy as I was when I was on active duty, and more so now, doing everything, a broad range of everything with the boys. So it's definitely very challenging.
I liken him to the corner man for a boxer, where they, come in and they clean you off and fix your cut, you spit in the bucket, and they throw you back out there. But we'd only been married a short time when I came home, and I said, John, I have a chance to interview to have this job at the White House. But I would probably have to live separately, and it might be pretty dramatic. And it took him about 15 seconds to say, do it, why not?
There's a pretty extensive process for selection to be the military aide to the president. It's a big responsibility, and the expectation is that the person in that position has some operational background and some ability to pull together different pieces of the machinery and facilitate. Obviously not a very senior rank, but just there to facilitate and to make sure the leaders have the information and the security they need to make the decisions they need to make in a very short order. You really do think about things in a broader way, sitting at the highest level of executive leadership in our country, and to be at the right hand of a president with this satchel called the football.
Her carrying the football is wonderful. The first cadet wing commander at the Air Force Academy, she is a leader, and people see that. Brigadier General Darren McDew, United States Air Force. She's very bright, and you appreciate how she deals with people. All people, everybody.
The other aides and I became very good friends, the fellas, the 4 other fellas who are the military aides to the president. And they kind of got a kick out of playing sports with me and to being my friend. So I'm not sure that everybody has a football with a president's signature on it, but just for fun, the colleagues got together a football, and President Clinton was gracious enough to sign it. Before Christmas in 1992, I was working at Camp David, and President Bush asked where my family was, what I was going to be doing for Christmas. I said, well, we'll have Christmas later. My husband was assigned at a different base. We didn't get to see each other all the time. I said, we've declared a day in February to be Christmas. And he said, well, you'll have Christmas dinner with my family then.
She is very self-effacing. She doesn't appreciate fully all the things. I think she appreciates them, and she doesn't take them for granted, but she doesn't think she's any special for having done them.
The lessons from that position were many in terms of just understanding the complexities of government. Even things that may seem straightforward are magnified because the United States of America is a very complex governmental machinery. It's a great honor to be on the Joint Staff. Our purpose is to help the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff provide the best military advice he can to the President of the United States. And my piece of that is to try to help my Lieutenant General Sattler, our director of the J5 Plans and Policy Directorate, provide that military advice in help of in the assistance of the Chairman. Especially for me, global war on terrorism
some of the strategic communications for us to get the message out, to get the word out of how we're doing in the long war, in the global war on terror. That's one small part of the portfolio that she works. John Sattler, Lieutenant General, United States Marines. Take that foundation she has and her desire to excel and her ability to pull a team together, and you can I can take almost any task and put that on her plate and expect and get great results in a very short period of time.
You know, I know I have worked hard, but I've been so fortunate that every so often some wonderful thing happens. Someone shows up with roses, you know, metaphorically.
She's sort of a coach and a mentor as well as a great leader. And once again, I would say that I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the sports that she had the opportunity to play and excel at. And you couple that with a very broad and deep intellect, and you've got quite a solution.
Like I said, I'm a fan. She can do anything she would like to do. Anything she would like to do. She could run this nation if she really wanted to. She is that impressive of a person, and she has all those skill sets, and they will translate to whatever she wants to do.
You know, I do look back and say, this has been a great go, and I'm not done yet.
Clearly, Stacy, wherever she's been and whatever she's done, she's left her impact there.
No question. You talk about a woman who still holds the scoring record at the Air Force Academy back when they didn't have the three-point shot. This is a role model for so many young girls, not just young girls, Trey, but young boys growing up. And it's certainly a testament to Title IX.
Absolutely. She's accomplished many things in her life.